tonight we have a great show in store for you.
It may be the weekend, but the World Series of Poker shows no signs of slowing down. The $2,500 horse event started today at 5.
Today is day 2 of the $5,000 buy-in World Championship Pot Limit Hold'em event. Now, the current chip leader is Gavin Griffin. He just won the EPT's Grand Final in Monte Carlo.
Gavin's going to have to get through a number of players, though, since Umberto Brenes, Chris Jesus Ferguson, Eric Risen Lynch, Scott Fishman, Michael Binger, and Alan Cunningham are still in contention.
There's 27 players remaining in the field and 398 players began. Now today is also day 2 of the $1,500 stud tournament. The chip leader in that event right now is Christopher Barnes.
Who's Christopher Barnes?
Well, I'm not sure, but Josh Arieh is in 3rd chip position. Now the only tournament that started off today with only a final table is the $1,500 six-handed event.
The chip leader entering the final table is Jason Warner, and over the course of play, so far, he's increased his chip lead.
Now, there's no really big names at this final table, but 4 players remain, so we'll let you know who comes out on top. Event number 15, which was a $1,500 no-limit tournament, also started today at noon. The chip leader in that event is John Elke Grosplier.
Joe Reitman had high hopes for the $1,500 no-limit tournament that started today, but he has already been eliminated. Last year, he finished in the money 2 times, and this time around, he's looking to win a bracelet. Earlier today, he stopped by the studios to talk about his World Series of Poker, as well as the influx of celebrities in the poker world.
Joe, what events have you played this year so far?
So far, I honestly just played the first 2 events, but the 1,500 no limit, and the first one I also played the 1,500 pot limit.
So what are you going to be playing? What's the next tournament?
I'm playing in about 45 minutes, the 1,500 no limit again.
So what do you think about the influx of people into poker, that it's even bigger this year?
I think the smaller events have been bigger for a kind of a really obvious reason. I think people are natural addicts, and the government has stranglehold players from playing on the internet. So a lot of players have pulled their money out, fear that they're going to lose it, not had the opportunity to play as much. So I think the pilgrimage to Vegas for the mecca of poker has actually grown because of that need for these players to be playing.
And how does your career in LA influence your poker playing?
When I have a career in LA, as you know, I act, direct, write, and produce. So when I'm doing stuff, it kind of creates chaos. For example, last year during the main event, I flew back a week before because I was going a little stir crazy in Vegas, and I had to get out of a casino. And so I flew back for an audition for CSI Miami, which I booked. And of course, the job shot during the main event. So I had to have the producers of CSI Miami put in their contract that they would wrap me by 10 a.m. to get me on a plane by 11, to get me back by 12 so I could play. And when I finished that day, since the next day I would have off, I'd jump on like the latest flight I could out of Vegas.
Back to LA?
Back to LA. And shoot for the next day until I could fly back again.
So what do you think about so many actors from Hollywood coming out here and becoming poker players? It seems like there's more and more just dotting the poker rooms.
You know, I think actors flock to whatever's popular. And I think that's kind of like a...
They like the cameras?
I don't think it's the cameras. I think that, like 3 years ago, everyone was smoking cigars, and I think, like that's kind of like an actor's MO is kind of like to go to like what is going on. It's a natural instinct to flock to like, what is popular, because you need to be able to do that in a certain internal sense. Most actors, I think, have a real need to want to be, obviously they want to be able to feel comfortable in their own skin, and the best way to do that is to kind of like, whether it be the hippest haircut or the newest clothes or whatever's going on, is to have knowledge of that. Yeah. And obviously with all the poker going on, that's important as well. And I think, unfortunately, I think actors make horrible poker players. So
you don't think that the acting skills carry over, trying to keep poker faces?
Actors by nature are horrible gamblers. And because...
Why is that?
I'll tell you why. Because anybody who wants to be an actor is taking a long shot. The odds of making it as an actor are less than 5%. So you're just by choosing the profession, you're actually thinking like you have a 3-hour.
You like to be the underdog.
Like you have a 3-hour. That's what you're thinking. Like you're like, I got a 3-hour, I'm going to hit it. That's what your natural instinct is. So, and also you're also like an adrenaline junkie because you're constantly going for the drama. As an actor, you're trying to like reach. Your choices as an actor are not to be the norm. If you choose the norm, you're boring. So you need to pick outside the norm. And by doing that, you're naturally being drawn to like emotions that kind of like are underdog emotions, And also, the urge to act at the poker table is a horrible thing. Like if you sit there and you're like, there's a reason they call it Hollywood, because it's horrible to do. Because if you do it, you're giving away way too much information. And actors naturally want to give away too much information. That's what they do.
I'm sure we'll see Joe up there in the chip counts again soon enough.
Tomorrow, the ladies' event starts at noon, and earlier today, we got a chance to stop by Caesars and check out the WSOP Ladies Academy. We got a chance to talk to Joe Navarro about his seminar on female-specific nonverbal tells. We also talked to Annie Duke, who's one of the lecturers, and she explained to us why women are sometimes too timid at the poker table.
I think there's two things. One is that it's hard for them to learn aggression, definitely. It's been really difficult. Despite the number of times that I've yelled at people for limping into pots, they're still limping. The other thing that's really interesting, and I don't think there's a difference between men and women, is that there's a lot of women going, I know I wasn't supposed to, but. And I'm finding that, like, particularly with players at this level, it's very difficult for them to overcome their urges just to kind of see what happens. And they do things even though they're not supposed to, which is amazing, because I'm sitting at the table yelling at them. But I think that's it, and it's interesting because if you, like, even pros have that impulse where it's like you kind of, somewhere inside of you have that voice being like, oh, I'd really like to play this hand. The difference is pros actually fold. But what you see here is that even though they know they're not supposed to, it's like that urge to see what happens.
The nice thing about this seminar with women is I think they ask more questions than usual. I think when there's men around, they're a little bit more reluctant to ask questions, and here they ask a lot of questions, and a lot of good questions, and so it's different that way, yes.
Now, in a seminar before, you said that women are typically better than men at picking up nonverbal behavior. Why is that?
Yeah, biologically, I mean, women have children, and the babies don't come out speaking, and so they have to read the behavior. Are they comfortable, hungry, hot, cold, so forth? And so I think there is a biological reason for why women read nonverbals better, and every study that's ever been done demonstrates that they read nonverbals better.
So what would you say is the strongest nonverbal tell from women at the poker table?
Well, I think one of the things that stands out is women don't engage in a lot of aggressive eye behavior. Men stare each other down and they play those kind of testosterone games. Women don't do that. And I think that's why they tend to be more successful in the end. Because they don't fall for those gimmicks. They're not put on tilt with those harassing looks and stuff like that. Yeah.
Now tell me, how helpful has this seminar been so far? Is there anything that you've learned that you really feel like is going to help you for tomorrow's game?
Well, first I want to say that Annie Duke is amazing. We all know that she's a great player, but to listen to her is just unbelievable. You can't even put it into words.
Those women who are there are definitely going to go into tomorrow with an advantage. Joe Navarro is an ex-FBI agent, and he teaches nonverbal tells, which is an integral part of the game of poker.
Thanks for watching, and be sure to tune in tomorrow night for a new episode.